week 1 of our NFL game picks for the 2021 NFL season, and I'm very glad it's here. Like always, throughout this season, we're going to have DJ Gamble to my right, your left, and then Chris to my left, your right. So, guys, last week we did a fantasy football episode.
Yes, sir.
It was very fun, jam-packed. We did every position on the field, at least for as fantasy goes. What are you guys looking forward most to when it comes to the season?
I'm looking forward to some great offense. You know, it's a 17-week season, so I'm looking for these players to produce, and it's going to be a good season. I'm just ready to get my fantasy points and beat you guys this season.
Yeah, I'm just happy football's back. Just looking forward to watching football. Yeah. So, gotta get the homework done by Sunday.
Yeah, me and Chris are pretty close to graduating, so in a little bit we won't have to worry about that. But nonetheless, I'm very excited as well. And don't worry, Dolphin fans, I'm going to be making videos soon. But like Chris said, we're very, very busy with school, so when I get it to you guys, we'll be there. But let's kick it off with the first game of the season. We have the Dallas Cowboys at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to kick off Thursday Night Football, 8:20 p.m. I'll start off with Chris. Who are you going with, the boys or the Bucks?
I wanted to take Cowboys, honestly. I did, but no, I got to go with the Bucks. Tom Brady usually doesn't lose right after a Super Bowl, so I think it's a pretty easy pick for me. What about you?
I don't know. You said you picked the boys at first. I don't think it was that. Well, it should have been that easy to begin with. Yeah, I'm going with Tampa Bay too. It's a no-brainer. They got a couple players. Cowboys,
Zach Martin out too.
Yeah, they got some players out. Dak trying to get his feet back.
Yeah, they've been holding Dak back all of training camp, so it's been kind of hard to decide whether or not, are the Cowboys going to be real contenders? Are they going to be able to even beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers week 1? I mean, Tampa Bay has all 22 starters coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you gotta go with the Bucks, right? Yeah. So I'm going with the Bucks. Yeah. But we'll move it on to the first game on Sunday. We have the Arizona Cardinals against the Tennessee Titans. And Bryce, I know who you are picking at least. So Bryce, I know Bryce is picking Tennessee. And by the way, before we even get deeper into it, everyone who's been involved with picking games with us throughout the beginning, so that includes Matt, my cousin, Bryce, Eddie, Chris, myself, DJ, and Steve, even the owner of NFL Game Picker. We're all going to be involved in this league, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, moving forward, Arizona versus Tennessee.
I'll beat.
I mean, last year I came out on top, so we'll have to see about that.
I know. I was at top for the longest time. I think I finished last.
Call me Rookie of the Year. I'm about to take it by storm then.
All right.
Okay, so let's get back on topic. We have the Arizona Cardinals versus the Tennessee Titans. And I don't know, I really like Kyler Murray and D-Hop and just that entire Arizona Cardinals offense. So I just got to go Arizona here. But it's going to be one of those, flip a coin type of games for me, realistically.
I think it's going to be a shootout. It's a battle of, some of the best wide receivers in football. So I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I'm going to roll with the Titans. But like I said, I think it's going to be a shootout, high scoring, coming down to some of the last drives.
This was the hardest game for me to choose, literally the hardest game. But I'm picking the Cardinals just because the Titans, they're missing 2 starters on their O-line. Yeah, I just looked that up yesterday. They're missing 2 starters on their O-line. So that's not a good look to start the season necessarily. So.
Well, the one was her last year, right? What was his name? Lewin?
Taylor Lewan.
Lewin. He tore his ACL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
a big loss.
Daniel Mounier and Cole Bonwell.
Oh, so there's 3 total out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, I think Taylor Lewan is back.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But I totally get what you're saying, DJ.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be as big as a factor, at least for Derrick Henry. Yeah. But pass protection, that's going to be very big because, I mean, you have this new weapon in Julio Jones in Tennessee, and if you can't get that protection, you can't get him that ball. Yeah. So, That's the one thing that is very scary about it. But definitely, like, that's what gave me the edge when it came to picking this game, Cardinals over the Titans. Sorry, Bryce. Next, we're going to stay within the AFC South. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. Snooze fest or no?
Pretty much, except it's Trevor Lawrence's first game.
You starting 1-0, baby. I got Jacksonville winning that game.
I think it's a good chance for him to win his first game, honestly, and then lose the rest of the year.
I don't know. He's going against a solid quarterback. I wouldn't say like solid number one, but a solid quarterback in Tyrod Taylor. And that backfield in Houston is actually kind of scary. They have pretty much a three-headed monster.
That's where running backs go to die.
You still have Philip Lindsay, who's relatively young. So I think he's gonna be the number 2 back. I think David Johnson's the number 1 back, and then Mark Ingram is that ground and pound type of guy, pay dirt type of dude. So I don't know. I think their running game is gonna be insane this year. But aside from that,
it's also
I don't see.
It sounds good on paper. Like those names sound good. Maybe 2-3 years ago, I'd be like,
But it's also Urban Meyer's first game as a coach in the NFL. Yeah, so that'll be cool. He'll probably get his first one. We'll see.
But just like you guys, I'm going with Jacksonville as well. I think Houston will be one of those like very mediocre teams that are going to be very close in every game they play, but just not good enough to get the wins at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Definitely a lottery or top 10 pick in the future this year.
For sure. All right, next we have the Los Angeles Chargers at the Washington football team. I mean, Washington surprised a lot of people last year, given they didn't, have a crazy record. They just won their division, which was probably one of the worst divisions in the NFL.
NFC least.
Yes. Yeah. So it's definitely nothing to, not consider, but also be like, okay, they didn't really do that much. But the Chargers, Justin Herbert had a pretty good rookie year. I want to hear your thoughts on this, DJ. What are your thoughts on this game?
I got the Chargers winning this game. Even though the football team front seven is ridiculous, like they may be one of the best they may be one of the best defenses coming up in the NFL. And all their pieces are young. But Justin Herbert, as you mentioned, he had a phenomenal rookie season, and I expect him to continue off of year 2. And then you got Derwin James coming back in the secondary for the Chargers. So I like the Chargers in the opening game for this one.
It's been so long since we've seen the Chargers without Derwin James in their secondary because he's been hurt for like almost 3 consecutive years now that he hasn't been consistently playing for the Chargers. So that's definitely something like I really hope and pray he returns because I really liked him a lot and I want to see him, get back to the field and see what he can do. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert is just going to be really good this year. But they do have a new coach, and Washington's front seven, like you said, is pretty scary. So, but I have the Chargers winning.
Well, I'm going to throw a wrench at both of you guys, and I'm going to pick the Washington football team. You guys keep talking about their front seven, and I cannot argue with you guys enough, right? And then you have Scary Terry, and I think it's Curtis Samuel that just went there in the offseason. And then also you got Fitzpatrick. I mean, the guy's a legend, all right? Fitzmagic. I can never forget his time in Miami. But to be frank, I think if he can sling it all over the field, but that's another thing we mentioned with Derwin James. If he can make his presence felt in this first game, Chargers win. But if he doesn't, Washington wins. I think that's going to be the deciding factor for this.
Fitz will definitely win you and lose you some games. That's why he was my sleeper guy. But yeah, like you said, that'll be an interesting one for sure. For sure.
Next, we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow is returning from his rookie season where he tore his ACL. Everyone thought they were gonna take like Penei Sewell or something, and instead they go with Jamar Chase, which I think is a questionable decision, especially after
he bad.
He doesn't look that good. He barely made any receptions during the preseason. Like a lot of people had him highly touted on like their draft boards and mock drafts and such, and then when it came to actually drafting him in fantasy football, like I saw him super late, like literally like in the 8-man leagues, like in our league, literally like he was there like at one of the last couple rounds, so we'll see what happens there.
His teammates was drafted way early before he was. You're saying
I'll take Tyler Boyd before him in fantasy. Like any day as of right now. From what I've seen in the preseason, not so good. But We also have the Minnesota Vikings. They have Justin Jefferson, reigning Rookie of the Year, coming back. I think that's huge for them. I think if they can continue to develop on that, that's going to be something that's going to be really big moving forward for Minnesota, especially after losing Stephon Diggs in the past year.
Yeah, but they still have Thielen.
Oh, of course.
He's healthy. And Dalvin Cook. That offense is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge Kirk Cousins fan.
That's the thing. It rests on Kirk Cousins' shoulders.
Yeah, as long as he's not playing on a Monday, he's... But I chose Minnesota.
Yeah.
I don't think Cincinnati is good at all.
All right. Well, not only that, like you said, it's Joe Burrow's first game back seeing real action. He played the last.
He played one drive in the preseason.
Preseason game, but one drive isn't really enough justice to get your feet wet, in my opinion. But like you said, I got Minnesota winning that one too.
This one could be a tough one because honestly, I think it can go either way.
That Minnesota offense is too nasty. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow is probably like really good, right? He could really like change the game if he's out there balling healthy and all such. So that's the only thing that's like kind of keeping me from deciding this one yet. But I'll stick with y'all. I'll go with Minnesota because, like you said, the offense is humming. But if their defense cannot stop Joe Burrow, they're gonna be in trouble.
And then
I see Joe Burrow struggling in this game. I don't know.
He has a lot of weapons too.
Yeah,
the defense on the Vikings.
They just got Joe Mixon healthy again. They got their tight end got healthy again too. They have Tyler Boyd. They have Jamar Chase. They have you name it. They have decent weapons.
He's gonna get rid of that mental block. It's a mental thing. And then the Vikings defense is without Anthony Barr. He's not playing their best linebacker, so that'll at least give Joe a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, like a half a second or two. Just throw the ball a little bit more then. Yeah. Okay, we have Sam. You want to add to this or no?
No.
Okay.
Going.
That's good, bro.
We all picked the same thing, so
that's fine. Yeah. Even though I feel like we all contested each other's thoughts on that, though.
Well, it's more like a supporting, so I can see where you're coming from, and I can understand it too.
Definitely.
Yeah, it crossed my mind too.
So this is probably one of the most interesting games of the week for me, and that's because it's former New York Jet Sam Darnold, now with the Carolina Panthers, facing his former team Week 1.
He's gonna go off.
You think so? I don't know. He's back with Robbie Anderson, which the two of them together was pretty dirty. Like Robbie Anderson with Sam Darnold on the Jets was probably one of the best combos I've seen in quite some time, at least in finding a guy, getting him open, and getting him a TD. What about you, DJ? What do you think of this game?
CMC returns.
Yeah, I got him in my fantasy league too, so I hope he does good. But I like the Panthers too in this game because the Jets, they don't. Jamison Crowder is he's actually like the number. Well, he plays a slot, but he's like the number one receiver.
Yeah, he's the guy who's going to get the most receptions.
Yeah, the most receptions.
I can tell you that.
Yeah, so I like the Panthers in this game for the reason that you mentioned with Robbie Anderson. He'll be motivated to show that he's a underrated receiver and such that he didn't get paid top receiver money in his extension. So
I think offensively, the Panthers overplay the Jets in this one, especially with rookie Zach Wilson. Let me not trash him because he did pretty good in the preseason. I'm not gonna lie, but same time, preseason. Those reps are kind of valuable, but at the same time, you're not playing against hard-nosed guys that are going to be up in your grill 24/7.
Starters until week 3 of the preseason.
Exactly, and he only played 2 drives that week. So even then, it was still rather impressive what he put out there. Yeah. But I just think Carolina as a team is further along than the Jets are right now.
Rebuilding type of things. Yeah, I agree.
All right, what about the Battle of the Birds?
The Dirty Birds. City of Brotherly Love in the Philadelphia Eagles and the Atlanta Falcons face off. We're still in the 1 o'clock slate, by the way, guys. I'll let you lead this one off.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Falcons. I think Kyle Pitts is going to be a monster. And yeah, I'm not sold on Jalen Hurts, so I'm rolling with the Falcons. What about you, DJ? What?
Everybody knows that this pains me to say. The Falcons are winning this game. The Falcons got they have the freedom. This is the first game with Kyle Pitts and all the new weapons. So the Eagles have the misfortune of seeing how they're gonna use Kyle Pitts in the offense and the different ways they're not gonna have a solid game plan foundation because there's no real game tape on him besides his college days. And the Eagles are without an offensive tackle too. A little side note. Not believing in that Jalen Hurts guy. As you mentioned, that's a reason to further that.
You think Calvin Ridley is the number one?
I don't think he's like a solid like number one receiver that you're like you put him on any team, he's gonna be your number one guy.
He's a bona fide number two.
Yes, exactly. Like at any team, like you put him on Arizona right now, is he gonna be the number two guy? Possibly.
Maybe three.
Exactly. That's the thing about Arizona. Like they have really good secondary receivers, but name me another team that has two good receivers.
He'd be perfect for the Bears. We'll take him.
He would be probably a really good number two to Allen Robinson. Yeah. But like
that's what I'm saying. Come on down, Calvin. We'll take you any day.
This one's pretty tough for me. I'm not gonna lie. We have Philadelphia. You know, last year Jalen Hurts was playing with scrubs. Like they're getting guys off the streets, and he was throwing it to them. You know, and then I'm gonna make that like one of those like play for us. And then we have Atlanta, who lost their number one wide receiver in Julio Jones. Like you were arguing, Calvin Ridley is evolving into that, but size is a big factor for me why he's not number one. But then they go out in the offseason and draft Kyle Pitts very high. Will it pay off? That's the thing. For the season-wise, I'm not sure. For this game, probably. But I don't know. I think Jalen Hurts, if he can get in good motion with his receivers this year, they're going to be really good. So I'll go with Philadelphia for this one.
He was putting in that work in the preseason or in the offseason.
Oh, that's one win we'll get. At least against Austin. Moving on.
This one's a pretty good matchup. Next is which I'm speaking of is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Buffalo Bills. They had a pretty good matchup last year, and this year I feel like it's not going to be any different because both teams are pretty much almost fully returning the same guys they had. But Pittsburgh, real big story that has kind of been swept under the rug the entire offseason is T.J. Watt holding out for money. And they're approaching a deadline soon. That's going to be a big factor for the Steelers defense after having the number one sack leader last year not come back to the team. Because Tomlin's very serious. If you're not practicing, you're not playing. I mean, you already seen the situations that he's had with AB, Le'Veon Bell, and so on and so forth. So without T.J. Watt in that defensive front for them, it's gonna be tough. They're still a good defense. Don't get me wrong, but I think Buffalo's one of those upper echelon teams at the moment from where they stand from last year and continuing from that. So I think Buffalo takes this one. Hurts me to say that one, just like how it hurts you to say Atlanta.
Oh man, this is gonna bring pleasure for one of my friends to say that Buffalo's gonna win this game. But like you said, will T.J. Watt play this game? It's not like you said, Coach Tomlin. If you don't practice, you don't play. And as of before we started this show, he's still not playing, or he's still holding out. And then they lost Bud Dupree in the offseason as well. So I like the Bills, and this is almost like you can say this is a testament game in the first week of the season for Josh Allen, like making sure last year wasn't, I wouldn't say a fluke, but see if he can keep up the momentum from last year going into the first game of the season.
Continuing all that. Almost like MVP type level. Because he was pretty cool. Like he was in MVP contention talks and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. But you also got to consider that Buffalo's defense is no joke either. And then they just added Gregory Rousseau from the Hurricanes. So, and he's pretty good. He's been pretty good in the preseason too. So.
That's why I'm going with the Bills. Josh Allen, MVP caliber player. I think Ben Roethlisberger is going to be terrible this year. I think it's probably going to be his last year.
Maybe, possibly.
The only positive for the Steelers is I think Najee Harris is going to be really good. But I'm going with Buffalo. Stephon Diggs caught like 10 passes for like 130 yards against them last year, and that defense was better than it is right now. So I'm going with the Bills.
Okay, interesting. Yeah,
they won 13 games last year and won their division. I don't know if you knew that.
Nah, it doesn't ring a bell, Chris. No, but I agree with you. And also, like you mentioned about Najee Harris, I think the Steelers' offense is gonna run through him just because, like you said, Big Ben's age.
And he'll catch a lot of passes too.
Yeah, the Steelers' offense is literally gonna run through Najee Harris, pass through Najee Harris.
Juju is still there.
Like their entire offense.
Who's the other? They have another good wide receiver.
Deontay Johnson.
Clay Claypool.
Yeah, they got some good.
They got some good receivers.
Good young wide receivers.
I mean, if you get that play action going, if Najee Harris is running the ball good, you get that play action going. They're going to be a deadly offense, and then they have a I'd say top 10 defense to back it up too. So
Pittsburgh is back. You think?
If they get T.J. Watt, yes, for sure.
Mason Rudolph's the backup though.
Dwayne Haskins didn't get the job.
No.
Oh man. Hey, I thought he was doing better.
I thought he would have got it too.
But they have him on the roster at least?
He's third string.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next, we go to Indianapolis for the Seattle Seahawks at the Indianapolis Colts. And I don't know. I like Seattle. And I also like the Colts. But I got to side with Seattle on this one to keep it frank. I can't really go against Russell Wilson too often. Carson Wentz is still undetermined to come back from injury. So that's something we have to look out for. And I like Seattle.
Yeah, same. I like Seattle. I'm a big Seattle fan. I like Russell Wilson a lot. And yeah, the quarterback situation in Indy, easy pick, I think.
Easy pick. Well, I guess you guys sort of talked me into it on this panel right here. As I told you, I was sort of in between because I was like, at first I picked Seattle, but then Indy and going back
Indy's
and forth.
a good team. I just don't think they win with, who is it, Jacob Eason as their quarterback?
It's between Jacob Eason and I think Sam Ellinger. I forgot what team Sam Ellinger was on, but I think he was on the Colts.
Well, yeah, you guys talked me into
Horn down. Horn down, baby. Horn down. You get penalized now for doing that in the Big 12, I think it's called. That's why. That's probably why they're leaving.
You should get penalized, dude. That's -1 pick, bro.
So yeah, we're all decided for Seattle here.
We're in agreement.
All right, cool.
Probably be in agreement on the next one too.
Yeah. Well, that moves us to our first feature of the week. We have Steve Opilo, the owner of NFL Game Picker. This is his lock of the week. Let's roll that real quick.
Hey, I'm Steve Opilo. I'm the creator of NFLGamePicker.com, and I am here with your 2021 Week 1 lock of the week. I was really tempted to pick Seattle Indy for this game because it's pretty hard to believe in Carson Wentz after what he did in Philly. But I believe even less in Jared Goff with his chances in the Motor City. So this week, even if he did manage to cobble together a half-decent performance, the Lions are the undisputed champions of finding obscure ways to lose football games, and sadly this week will be no exception. So, your Week 1 lock of the week is the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, man, Steve, I like you.
And that leads us also to DJ's Gamble of the Week.
Yes, sir. My man Steve, he a good man because we thinking alike right now. I definitely got the 49ers beating the Lions. You can put that one. That's a gamble. You can put your money. Just because the Lions, think about it, they have to prepare for two new quarterbacks. Like the 49ers have been open that they're going to play Trey Lance this season. And then if you cope on top of that the 49ers, the Lions have a brand new coaching staff. Like literally a brand new head coach, a new offensive coordinator, and have a brand new coaching staff. And you put them with an established team like the 49ers and that added element that I said about the quarterback throwing in the wrinkle in the game plan. I think it's just too much for a first-year or a brand new head coach to take on, and you can gamble on that one.
Bro, they're going to be out there biting people's kneecaps off.
Come on, bro. You're going to go against Motor City Dan Campbell.
That's how you have to say his name. You can't say it normal. You got to say it crazy.
I definitely would love to play for, as a player, I would love to play for him.
He was on the Saints.
But
he was coach for the Saints.
He was also the interim coach for the Dolphins right before we hired him. Adam Gase.
Yeah.
Really, he was in the parking lot sharpening an axe when Adam Gase came in to get interviewed. He's savage, bro. He's a wild man. He used to play for the Lions. I think he has a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, I think he played for the Saints too. No.
That I cannot confirm. I know for sure he played for the Lions. I've seen the tapes.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going with San Fran still.
Yeah, making this whole big deal. But like you mentioned, I like what you said. What?
He's a Lions fan.
Oh yeah.
That's right. No offense taken.
You guys can't see him, but Hank is behind here today producing the show, and he's from Michigan, Detroit, so he likes the Lions. But he's open about switching to other teams, so shout out.
I don't know who that nation.
Put it in the comments on what team he should root for. You know what? I don't know what you said about the whole dual quarterback situation in San Francisco. It kind of reminds me of Lamar's first year in the season. First season in the
Behind
NFL.
Flacco?
Yeah. Because you have Flacco there, and then you had Lamar come in kind of as like, they line them up outside, they'll screen it to him, and then he'll do something, make a move. I don't think they're going to do as much as that with Trey Lance. I think it's going to be more so, kind of like how the Dolphins were last year with Tua and Fitzmagic.
Or something.
Yeah, so that's definitely what I think is going to be a situation there.
Situational playing.
But you also can't discount the fact that the Lions probably did one of the most low-key big trades of the offseason, trading away Matthew Stafford.
Yep.
And I think they traded
two first-round picks.
Did they trade the picks, or did the Rams trade the picks?
No, the Lions traded 2 first-round picks.
and Stafford for Jared Goff. A big risk, big gamble. Big gamble, by the way. But I got to go with San Fran. They have the better team on paper.
I know,
but I would not be surprised if Detroit sneaks a win here.
Oh. All right.
Yeah, I got you, Hank. Don't worry.
We'll kind of put it this way. It's gonna be kind of like my direction.
The Rams did,
it's gonna be a rough start, but then we're gonna have this mastered by the end of like week 13.
I believe in Dan Campbell. That's the main reason. I believe in
Dan Campbell.
Motor City Dan Campbell, baby. Shout out to Pat McAfee show.
That was my bad. The Rams traded Jared Goff and two first-round picks.
Okay, yeah.
So
Lions got the steal.
I was gonna say something, but I was just like,
oh, you could have corrected me.
That's why
we're so confident.
I
was trying to get on to the next game because it's much more exciting.
Okay, all right. Well, we're having such a good time talking about this one, so. Oh my God. All right. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns at the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a rematch of a playoff game. I think it was the divisional round.
We keeping you awake right now.
No, just the Chiefs and Browns. So that was.
You find this one boring and you're gambling not? Come on, dude.
That was a boring. Oh no, I'll keep it going, but.
Oh man. But in all honesty, I think this is going to be one of the best games through the week, and this is the first 425 game. By the way, there's a couple.
Yep.
We'll get to those in a bit. This is a rematch of the divisional round, if I'm not mistaken, from last year. Cleveland almost won because Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes got hurt, and Chad Henne, former Dolphin, by the way. We're just dolphining up this episode, you know.
Almost lost him the game.
He almost lost him the game,
but any passes in there.
But he said, "Screw it! I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna tuck it and run and get that first down for us."
The most important.
That was pretty much it. He literally
highlight reel.
Yeah. That's gonna be on his Hall of Fame. No, I'm kidding. But in all honesty,
I ran for that first down.
Okay. Guys, who are you picking? Since you want to make some jokes.
I'm taking KC. Although it is the return of Odell Beckham, which I think will be interesting to see how he does. He's been saying he's working hard. So.
Do you believe him?
I think so.
That face didn't seem believable.
I think so. I think he comes back pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be like a top 5 wide receiver, but top 15 for sure. But yeah, I'm taking KC just because they're really good at football.
That's the same reason. That's why I did the little yawn thing because I was like,
14-2 last year is pretty good.
Yeah, you can't snap it, and they just keep repeating. Although Tyron is listed as questionable, that's not really.
That's not a good thing just because he's like the heart and soul of their defensive unit.
That's the only thing that would make me teeter.
Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt is going to be interesting.
That's a dangerous backfield right there.
With Kareem Hunt actually being there a whole season now.
Mm-hmm.
Be interesting.
This is one of those games that I'm kind of like I can flip a coin and it'll be either or. It doesn't matter, just because I think Cleveland is almost there. I think Kansas City, you can't never like pretty much go against them because it's freaking Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. That's a safe bet, right? Yeah. But Cleveland is like I'm feeling a little dangerous. I'm like Baker Mayfield. I woke up feeling dangerous, you know. So I'll go with Cleveland on this one, just to go against on you guys on this, but. I won't be surprised if I lose this just because it's Kansas City, but it's a close one.
A little spiciness.
Yeah.
Mix it up.
Check out NFLGamePicker.com. Sign up for free at NFLGamePicker.com today and pick every game every week with your friends, family, and coworkers. Just like how me, Chris, and DJ pick each and every week. We have some fun. We talk about it. At the end of the week, we're going to have some bragging rights. So go ahead and check out NFLGamePicker.com today. Next, we have Denver Broncos at the New York Giants. Daniel Jones been quite feisty this offseason. He's been getting in scraps with getting in the middle of the dog piles. Yeah. And then we have the Denver Broncos, who just recently named Teddy Bridgewater the starting quarterback, which I find really interesting.
Yo, what's your fact?
What you say? Teddy Two Gloves, right?
Teddy Two Gloves, my boy. Don't disrespect him.
What's your fact?
My Miami
DJ?
native.
Oh, yeah. Teddy's the first black quarterback to start in Denver since the first black quarterback to start in the NFL.
Wow. So times are changing there. They're moving along in Denver. It's good to see that. But also, as a team, they're moving along. And I love Teddy. I love Teddy.
No, he's not going to, like...
I feel like he got screwed over in Minnesota.
He's not gonna lose it either.
Yeah, but he's
gonna lose it.
He's a
game
great
manager?
second string quarterback.
I wouldn't say that. I think he's a pretty good game manager. I think he got screwed over in Minnesota, first of all.
Bona fide tier 3 quarterback. What I would put him
in. He's gonna win you some games. He's gonna definitely lose you some games. But he's never gonna like be so bad that you're like, I don't even want this guy on my team type of guy, you know?
So are you taking Denver?
I don't know. Saquon's coming back too. I liked.
That's all the more reason I want to pick Denver too. Now that you mention it, because Saquon's coming back, test out that knee. You can post all the workout videos you want, but that's different than game.
And
game
Galladay's been hurt too.
Well, that's something I'm really looking forward to for the Giants is Kenny Galladay moving from the Lions to the Giants.
Yeah,
I think that's a huge pickup for them because they've been lacking like that solidified number 1 wide receiver for them. And so, I'm really like stuck in between. It's like a rock and a hard place, just because you can go with either one. Like this, like I said about last game, flip a coin. It doesn't matter. You're gonna go with one or the other. Chris, did you say yours?
No, I didn't yet. But I'm going with Denver just to keep it short and sweet.
Okay.
I don't think Daniel Jones is gonna be the starter for long term.
Who do you think is gonna replace him?
I don't know.
For the rest of the season.
No, like long term. Like I think they're gonna move off of him, kind of like what happened to Sam Darnold. I don't know. It's gonna be like a pivotal year.
I'd beg to differ. I think they're really, really high over there in New York on Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
I mean,
they picked him.
He was like Eli Manning Jr., man. Come on, dude.
But I don't know. We'll see. So like. Having Galladay there definitely helps because he's got a number 1 wide receiver, and
I think that's something he's been missing.
Saquon back healthy will help a lot.
Because realistically, he has some decent weapons in Evan Ingram and Sterling Shepard, like you mentioned, and you add Kenny Galladay to the mix and Saquon coming back. I mean, that offense could be scary.
But yeah, I went with Denver. Who'd you go with, DJ?
I'll pick Denver.
Yeah, DJ picked Denver. And then Denver, too, they have some good offensive weapons coming back. They have Cortland Sutton coming back. They have Noah Fant coming back. I think they got Melvin Gordon coming back. I think we talked about this.
Yeah.
They got Melvin Gordon coming back. And they drafted some guy I wouldn't say super high, but they got him pretty high. So
Jerry
Jeudy's a beast, too. So I'm gonna go with Denver. I'm gonna split the decision here between you two. Well, at least I'm with DJ on this one.
We both went Denver.
Oh, you went Denver too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Next we have the Cheeseheads, the Green Bay Packers at the New Orleans Saints. This game was originally scheduled for to be played in the Caesars Dome in Louisiana.
Austin, I'm gonna correct you, sir. You forgot to mention game of the week in front of it.
I think the next game is gonna be that, but we'll see. Go ahead, DJ. I'll let you introduce this game. Knock yourself out.
Oh man, this is one of those games where you sort of choose. It's hard to choose without your heart because I'm a Saints fan at heart, and at the end of the day, to make a long story short, I'm gonna still pick the Saints, even though the Packers beat us in a shootout last year. I like the Saints having something to play for, and they're gonna prove a point. Jameis is out to prove a point, and I got us winning a close game.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna roll. Well, we're going to this game, so it's in Jacksonville. I got moved from New Orleans because of the hurricane. I'm gonna roll with Green Bay just because it's not in New Orleans. It's kind of at like a neutral ground sort of type deal.
Fair enough, yeah.
But yeah, Aaron Rodgers, like I said about KC. I hate to say it, but he's pretty good at football.
Yeah, he's
for the most
a good
part.
football
But
player.
yeah, I'm rolling with Green Bay. What about you, Austin?
If you guys still had Drew Brees, I would take the Saints by 100 and Michael Thomas.
But
those really hurt the Saints in this.
We didn't play without Michael Thomas last year.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys want to say he's one of the best receivers, which I doubt. I really have a beef against this since he has beef with my boy Devontae Parker. But we'll save that for another day.
Oh, all right, that's cool because we can split the whole show.
110 catches a year is in top tier.
All right, if Devontae Parker runs slants every freaking
then
time
why
the ball's
doesn't he? Then the Dolphins would win more probably.
Probably, yeah. Who knows?
Who knows?
We're not going that deep.
You think Devontae Parker is better than Michael Thomas?
As an actual receiver, yes. As an actual receiver, yes.
Oh my god.
Devontae was a straight fade go route runner when he came into the league.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like you said, that's neither here nor there.
We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this closer to the holidays when the Saints and the Dolphins play each other on Monday Night Football.
Yes,
Did you hear what he said about Michael Thomas?
Yeah, it was a dismissive comment. I can't.
No, but in all honesty, I can't really go against Aaron Rodgers when there's no Drew Brees and Michael Thomas there.
That's your opinion after that last take, honestly.
That's just some beef you don't understand. Michael Thomas was talking smack about my boy.
I don't like Aaron Rodgers either, but I took the Packers, bro.
Yeah, me too. I'm taking the Packers too, bro. Discount double check. MVP Aaron Rodgers. He's still come back. He got Randall Cobb back in the offseason. I think not by a landslide, but the Packers win this at least. I mean, at the most by 2 touchdowns.
I like how you snuck that. He brought Randall Cobb back. Like that was
like some big deal.
It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, but they have a good connection. That's one of his boys. Who are you gonna take? Marcus Valdez Standing or whatever the hell his name is over Randall Cobb? Which one?
Isn't Scanlon a tight end?
Marquez Valdez Scantling.
He got cut too, right? Didn't they release him too?
I have no idea.
Isn't Lazard out too?
I don't know, but Lazard had a pretty good son last season. Yeah. He did pretty good.
One of those two got released.
All right. We're done with this game?
Yeah.
Packers, Saints. Packers here, Saints over there.
Yes.
Cool.
No, Saints over here, Packers all the way over there for the claimer.
Yeah, by the way, you got me a Saints shirt for Sunday?
Yeah, man, I got you, man.
I got you.
I
got you. I got you the Cheesehead and an Aaron Rodgers jersey. You can wear it.
Good on that. Good on that.
Well, probably my favorite game of the week, and we have we have the Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots, and some interesting news happened when they were making the final cuts. Cam Newton is no longer a Patriot. He did not make the final 53-man roster. So Mac Jones is going to be starting week 1. It's going to be tough for him facing this probably one of the top 10 teams, in at least when it comes to defenses, in the Miami Dolphins. And that's not me just being a fan. That's me just giving you guys the facts. Just letting you all know. But no, not honestly. I think it's going to be interesting to see Mac Jones getting his first start in the NFL and a lot of people compare him to Brady, which they're going to play Week 4. We'll go over that game too when it comes. But I'm picking my Miami Dolphins. A lot of criticism has been said over the offseason about Tua and the Dolphins, and I want to see them really back it up. So I'm always going to go with them, but I got the Miami Dolphins.
Tua versus Mac, reunited.
Yep.
Back together. Nick Saban's mentor, Bill Belichick, coaching the Pats. Pretty good first game, especially if you are a fan of that division or of either team. Good first game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll with the Dolphins. I just feel like they're a little bit ahead of the Patriots now. But the Patriots did return a lot of people from defense that they didn't have last year.
A lot of their defensive players like Dante Hightower and such sat out last season because of the COVID. They had the chance to, but the Dolphins had people who sat out too. There was like people like Albert Wilson and Allen Hurns, but he got hurt in preseason. But having the returning players coming back from that, and then the Patriots spent a lot of money, like one of the most amount of money in the first day of the tampering window when it came to free agency. TJ, who you got here?
I don't know, man. After your take, it pains me to tell you that I'm picking your Dolphins to win this game too. Yeah, but honestly though, the same reason that you said their defense is a top tier defense, and even though Mac Jones, I wouldn't necessarily say there's a compare like Alabama. They're used to playing the big games and all that stuff, but NFL is a different breed than NCAA for sure. So he's used to pressure, but I think you guys are gonna put some pressure on him, and that's gonna lead to some turnovers. So I got you guys winning this game.
And that's something that you obviously don't see in like the preseason. Like the Dolphins are not going to throw out their best defensive fronts in front of the teams during the preseason. So definitely seeing more of those exotic blitzes. Like I saw this one video on Twitter, and it was really like before one of the plays that Justin Herbert, I don't know if he threw a pick or something, but he got like all the defensive guys in the front seven were literally just moving around. Like you didn't know who the hell was rushing, who was dropping back. At the end of the day, I think they all ended up blitzing, right? And like that's something that Mac Jones is gonna see probably week 1, and it's gonna be interesting. Fans are back in New England. Last time Dolphins played in New England, they didn't have any fans. I think it should be a really interesting game. I like this game a lot. Something that may keep me away from going to Jacksonville with y'all because I'm really excited for this game. But if I can find a way to watch it, I'll definitely slide to Jacksonville watching the game at the same time. Next, we have
the game of the week.
Sunday Night Football.
Bears versus the Rams.
I feel like you guys always got a Sunday night game against the Rams when you guys play each other.
I don't know about that, but
for the last couple of years, it's been like that.
Interesting game. Chicago Bears playing against Matt Stafford on his new team.
Mm-hmm. No longer with the Lions.
Nope. He is a Ram now, which I think they're going to be pretty good. I'm still going to roll with my Bears. Sunday Night Football. I feel like this calls for a Justin Fields sighting, but that's just my opinion.
I think that's a reach.
I don't know. I feel like if we end up getting blown out, which is a possibility, bear down. They might throw him in, but Dalton's going to start. I have confidence in Dalton. I don't think he's as bad as you guys want to make him seem.
He's just, what you're going to get out of Andy Dalton. It's not like he's going to miraculously come back and be like, oh, he's throwing 74% or something. He's a solid quarterback, but the game is I don't think it's going to be a blowout type of game, but I definitely got the Rams winning the game. And it's like an added storyline to the game. You got Sunday Night Football, Andy Dalton out to prove that he can hold the team, that he signed. What did he say? I'm the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
You got Matt Stafford trying to show that he doesn't really, only besides Thanksgiving Day, I don't really see Matthew Stafford too much on national television.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's probably true.
It's gonna.
Yeah, like the only time I've honestly seen like a Lions game is literally Thanksgiving and when the Dolphins play them. So it's funny you mentioned that. This is one thing that might keep me away from picking Los Angeles, the Rams, is I don't have any confidence in their running back situation whatsoever. I do like the trade they made to get Sony Michel. But is that the answer? Is that the long-term answer? What's the answer there for running back? I have no idea. They have a bunch of weapons when it comes to tight ends and receivers. I'm not worried about that. They have a really good quarterback now, Matthew Stafford. I think they did step up in that position. But then you also have the Bears. Probably a really good defensive team. Probably one of those other top 10 defensive teams like we've been mentioning throughout the show. But then you have this whole quarterback situation. Who's going to be the starter? Is it going to be Andy Dalton? Is it going to be Justin Fields?
No, it is Andy Dalton for sure.
No, I know. But I'm saying like throughout the season, that's going to be the conversation, right? So any mishap that Andy Dalton slips up within these first 3 games, you're going to start seeing Fields, right? So as far as that goes, this one's tough. I'll go with the Bears just for the first game. Even though this is at Los Angeles, early on in the season. If this would have been later in the season and in Chicago, 100% I take Chicago. But it's a little bit flip-floppy. I honestly might change my decision later on when it comes closer to the game.
Something to help you change your mind a little bit. If Sony Michel is the answer, I won't say I'm no expert analyst, but the Rams run a zone scheme type of run, and Sony Michel in Georgia, like you look at his highlights, that's the type of thing that they excelled at with running the ball with him. And you know he can catch the ball out of the backfield, so Matt Stafford can dump it down to him. I want to see him get more carries. I don't know who's going to be their starting running back, but I would like to see.
It's between him and Darrell Henderson.
Yeah. I would like to see him get more touches than Darrell Henderson, but his type of play fits what the Rams are missing.
So you think he's like a good scheme fit?
Yeah, he's a good schematic fit for them. Yeah.
DJ, are you making me change my mind live on the spot? I think I'm gonna scoot away from the Bears and go to the Rams.
You didn't mention Aaron Donald. He's pretty good.
I was gonna get to that too. Like the Rams defense is pretty good too. They have Jalen Ramsey. They have Aaron Donald.
Leonard Floyd, X-Bear.
Yeah.
I think he had like 10.5 sacks last year.
He did really good last year.
Him on the line with Aaron Donald. You can't double team him both.
Yeah.
I wish we would have kept him, but we have a pretty good D line anyways without him. Well, he's kind of like a Khalil Mack type position too.
Yeah.
Linebacker that's technically D-line.
Yeah, and then we have Monday Night Football, probably Steve's favorite game of the week since the Baltimore Ravens are playing the Las Vegas Raiders. And it's going to be interesting. Vegas last year opened up their season, did not have fans in this new stadium, Allegiant Stadium. Now they will, first of all, and two, they're getting the IRS is investigating them for something with tax evasion or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. Good job, Las Vegas Raiders, right? And then Mark Davis decides to flex and say, yeah, I'm building a $14 billion or $1 million crib in the middle of the desert, by the way, in the midst of all this stuff, which is pretty funny, but really doesn't involve the team. Yeah. Like the players on the field, it doesn't really involve them, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I thought it was pretty funny. You guys got anything on this game?
This is one of those gamble picks of the week.
Hey, another DJ gamble, baby.
I love the Baltimore Ravens in this game. Just because it's not even talking about the game itself, but think about the last time we saw Lamar Jackson on Monday Night Football. He went crazy. He had, what was it, 6?
That was a game against Cleveland, right?
He had 6. The Rams in 2019, like Monday Night Football, like his debut. That was the last time I remember seeing him against the Rams. He scored on his first 6 possessions of the game. Okay, and he was acting crazy. The Ravens are 6 in their pass defense, and you know the Raiders want to get the ball to those weapons, but you can't. You got Marlon Humphrey there. You got Matthew Judon, who's going to anchor that defense. Yeah. Patrick Queen as a linebacker. They got the Ravens' defense is pretty stout. They improved off what they did last year. So I love the Ravens with this pick.
Yeah, I got the Ravens winning. Lamar Jackson 2-1 on Monday nights. Raiders were 2-6 at home last year. I don't know. I definitely think the Ravens are gonna win. The only thing, the question mark for me is Mark Anderson or Andrews.
Yeah, is he
gonna
Ravens.
play?
I believe it is.
I
Better
know.
play. He just signed that extension.
Yeah, bro, he got that big bucks. So I think he's healthy. Yeah.
I know he got taken to the hospital though.
Recently?
Yeah, he was like severely dehydrated. Pretty sure.
Oh yeah, but that was a couple weeks ago.
We'll slap some IV. Well, they'll
They'll do that for
IV.
He should be alright.
Yeah, he should be
good to
fine.
go.
If he signed that literally like the other day, he's fine.
On his birthday too. What
Yeah.
a birthday!
Yeah,
That was
for real.
yesterday, wasn't it?
Backed up the
Yeah.
Frank's truck for that boy, right? No.
56 million or something.
Yeah,
like that.
he's one of the top 2 or 3 paid tight ends right now.
He was third.
Third?
behind
Oh, he's probably the third best tight end in the league.
Travis
You
Kelce,
would argue it's between
George Kittle.
but as long as like the third goes, it's between him, George Kittle, and Darren Waller. Those are like
Hawkinson maybe this year. We'll see.
we'll see what happens with
Kyle
Goff.
Pitts,
Goff
maybe.
does like his tight ends.
Yeah.
To mention the lines, Goff does like the tight
Kyle
ends.
Pitts maybe.
No, I don't think he's gonna be up there
I don't know.
in his first year. I doubt it. I'm still against it. I don't know.
Time will tell.
Yeah, it will. Going back to this Baltimore Las Vegas game, I'm gonna stick with you guys. I'm gonna go with Baltimore. I think Lamar Jackson has all it is that really the Ravens need to like will them pass a win no matter who the opponent is. I think the Raiders are taking a step back in. I think this is year 3 with Gruden, if I'm not mistaken. It's for his second year in Vegas with him. With him coming back, I do like Vegas though. I like Derek Carr slightly. It's really up to him. Like I mentioned, Lamar is the factor that the Ravens are probably going to win. Derek Carr is probably the factor that the Raiders are going to probably lose, just because Derek Carr, it's either hit or miss with him. He's going to either win you to the win, like we mentioned, kind of like I mentioned with Teddy Bridgewater earlier, either win you the game or lose you the game. I mean, you have pretty good weapons there with Darren Waller and Josh Jacobs. The receivers, if I told you the receivers, I'd be lying to you. But I know Hunter Renfrow is one of them. You guys know the receivers?
Yeah,
No, right? They're not
honestly
household
couldn't.
names, you know.
Other than
But those two
Henry
guys,
Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs, yeah, just speed demon. But you want to add anything, Chris?
No.
At least towards the receivers. What are the receivers?
Ruggs, Brian Edwards, and Renfro.
Yeah.
Willie
Hunter
Snead.
Renfrow from
Willie
Clemson.
Snead's there.
Willie Snead.
Yeah.
Willie Snead's decent. You just got a bunch of like speed demons there, and I mean,
Marcus Mariota's on the bench.
yeah, he came in, almost won on the game last year. But I think that wraps it up for week 1.
Week 1.
You guys
Gonna
want to
be-
do?
Gonna be awesome.
You guys want to do? Who do you think is gonna win the division? Gotta do it before the first week.
All right.
All right. Well,
All right, last year we did this, and we're gonna make this another annual thing. We're gonna pick who we think is gonna win each division, and we're gonna start off with Mr. Gamble here, and we'll start off with your conference, NFC South. Who are you going with?
my heart is going with the New Orleans Saints, of course. But
Say no more.
But the Dan Patrick School of Broadcasting has taught me to be unbiased, and I have to give it up to the team that returns all 22 starters on
Yep.
offense and defense. And while I think the Saints could get a wild card spot, I have the Buccaneers winning the division.
So realistically, you would put like the Bucks at 1, and then like possibly Saints at 2, right?
For sure, Saints at 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Bucks are gonna win the division most likely.
Yeah.
Unless something crazy happens.
Yeah, I agree with DJ. You know,
Same.
I'd put like Bucks 1, Saints 2, and then really after that doesn't really matter because I don't see I don't see the third team making it into the playoffs there. We'll keep everything right now in NFC. We'll go NFC East: Cowboys, Eagles, Washington football team, and did I say Cowboys? Giants. Between those 4, who you
Such
going
a
with?
bad division.
The NFC least last year, baby.
I think the Cowboys are gonna win.
Cowboys.
Yeah, I do.
I'd be making a lot of people happy at home if I said the Cowboys, but you're not going to get that satisfaction. Washington football team is going to win the division based off that front 7 we were talking about earlier and the streaky play of Ryan Fitzmagic.
So for me, it's pretty hard for that
One
one.
season, 17 games. You want
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, an
All right.
extended season, by the way, not a
Alright.
normal 16-week
Alright.
season. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. At least now the Cowboys cannot finish 8-8. That'll be very good to see. No, but no, honestly, I think the Cowboys do win the division. But if they don't, I'm not gonna be surprised if it's Washington right behind them, or like actually winning the division. So it should be interesting between those two teams. I think those are the leaders. Philly. I mean, the division, I feel like they're all kind of like always dead even every year. Like it's like anyone's division. That's probably like the one of the most up for grabs division.
Put them in a bag and pick one out.
Yeah, for real.
With it for the season.
But if I had to, it's between the Cowboys and Washington. But I'll give the edge to Dallas. We're staying with the NFC. We're gonna go NFC North. We have the Bears. We have the Packers, we have the Vikings, and we have the Lions. I already know we're not picking the Lions, so we take that one out of the book.
I think it's going to be a good division this year, honest. It usually is, but especially this year. I'm going to roll with the Bears.
Unbiased selection.
I mean, I think the Bears definitely could win the division, but you can't go wrong choosing the Packers. We'll see. Hopefully it's the last year and Rodgers is in the division. So.
Doubt it.
This is a toss-up one because I want to say the Packers, but also I love to see what the Vikings will do with a year with a healthier defense and Mike Zimmerman being able to do what he wants to do with all his players.
Yeah.
So,
that offense is good if everyone stays healthy.
Yeah, it's gonna be very intriguing to see who's gonna come out between those three teams. I don't think the Lions make it, but I think they do a lot better than they've done in the recent years. You know, not having as good of a record. But when it comes down to it, it's gonna be between, I believe, the Packers and possibly the Vikings. I think the Bears are gonna be in the mix, but at the end they're gonna tail off because it's a quarterback situation, dude. I'm not faithful with what's going on there in that quarterback situation. If you have the guy, put him in. I mean, the same thing happened with the Dolphins last year. Only thing I can say is that Tua was coming off of probably like most years a career-ending injury.
Win a little, like Dalton could take the Bengals to the playoffs. He could take the Bears to the playoffs.
That's all the Bengals did though. Every single year was just go to the playoffs.
But that's fine. The Bears are a better team than any of the Bengals teams were.
Okay, but if you want,
and Allen Robinson is the best wide receiver. Dalton's probably had.
What's the purpose of going to the playoffs if you don't even do anything there?
Cool. You think AJ Green's better than Allen Robinson?
No, Chad Ochocinco.
You just totally forgot what I said. F him.
I didn't hear what you said. What? Maybe. I thought Ocho was out of there by the time Dalton was there.
No, I think he got the tail end of his career.
All right, I'll give you that one.
Oh, well, then AJ Green too. So.
Yeah. he had AJ Green.
Who you say? Amari Cooper's better than him?
No,
too?
I'm not. Wait, that's a different conversation. See, we need.
All right, let's stay on the topic real quick.
What was your question?
What's so good about making the playoffs if you're like not going anywhere far?
It's better than not making the playoffs.
It is.
The hope as a fan.
It is. No, I believe you. It is.
I know you don't know what it's like to make the playoffs being in the Tom Brady era.
I mean, we made it. The most recent was in 2016 and a game away from it last year. If we were in the NFC, we would have made the playoffs like the Bears. We would have been getting slimed by the Saints, you know? So we have our picks. You have the Vikings. I have the Packers. You have the Bears. All right, cool. NFC West, which was probably one of the best divisions in football last year. We have the 49ers, Seahawks, I already said the 49ers, Cardinals, and then the last one,
Rams.
Slipping my mind, the Rams.
I have the Rams winning. Although
what are you, Seahawks?
I like the Seahawks. Yeah, it's such a good division. I could see like the Seahawks, Rams, and Cardinals easily winning 10 games each, potentially. And San Francisco's not terrible. Like they're not gonna win the division, but
quarterback situation once again.
But they're not gonna be like god awful. Like you know what I mean. But I think the Rams have their quarterback now. I'm a big Stafford fan. I think he's really good, and I think you'll see that he's really good on a better team and bigger market this year.
Okay.
So the top two I got competing for this division is gonna shock you. Well, the Arizona Cardinals is a team that that's the solidified pick that I want to, or that I'm predicting to win the division. They started out so strong last year. They won the first 8 out of their 10 games, and then they tailed off.
The Seahawks?
No, the Cardinals.
Cardinals, yeah, they did so good.
Last 2 games, I remember that.
They started out really hot, then tailed off.
Yeah, that was the difference because they lost by 2 games in the division to the Rams.
Yeah. So even though like you said, Los Angeles has their quarterback. I think Arizona and Cliff Kingsbury learned from his mistakes from last year, and
they got J.J. Watt now, and they got A.J. Green.
Yeah. So for me, when it comes to this division, I think at least in last place, I have the 49ers, unfortunately. I think they digress. Quarterback situation, the health of players is uncertain. So it's going to be tough for them. But then you also have three probably teams that I think are going to make the playoffs. And that's what I was pretty much saying all last year with the NFC West. Is like the top three teams are all going to make the playoffs, which were the Rams, the Seahawks, and the
happened
Cardinals.
In the AFC North.
Yeah. So that's what happened last year for the AFC North, which will be the next one. But yeah, I think I'll go with you with the Rams winning it, and then Cardinals will be second, Seattle will be third.
Oof.
Yeah.
We'll see. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, it's. I think it can be any way
in
order in that team in that division.
Tough.
All right, we're switching conferences now to the AFC North. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, and Baltimore Ravens. I'll start this one off. I think Cleveland finally wins the division this year. Ravens are second. Pittsburgh is third. Possibly all three of them make the playoffs. Who knows? Bengals going to be last, but they're going to be one of those like nitty-gritty type of teams that are going to be competitive each and every game but not make it up at the end of the season.
I think it would be cool to see Cleveland win. They've been bad for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They just made the playoffs again. So it'd be cool to see them win. I don't think it's going to be Pittsburgh. I think it's going to be between Baltimore and Cleveland. But Cleveland has more stars, so that's usually who you tend to lean towards, I guess, right? So I guess I'll go Cleveland. But Baltimore could win.
This is me trying to make my disgusted face with you two right here. Because Ravens are winning this division right here. Shout out to the flock gang out there. But I love Baltimore. They're going to win it. Baltimore and Cleveland are the top two in the division, as you guys said.
Yeah.
And after that, it's irrelevant. I don't see three teams coming out of this conference again, especially with
maybe in the East, AFC East.
Possibly. There's a few divisions throughout the entire league that you can argue and say three teams are going to come out of here. For sure, for the most part, two of them are going to come out of most of the conferences.
Yeah.
Divisions. But yeah, you said Ravens. That's an interesting pick. I like the Ravens. Like I think just like how I said last with the NFC West, I think the AFC North is probably a really tough division to pick because you already know Bengals are probably going to finish last, but you won't be surprised if they do better than what is expected. Defense is a problem for them. That's the only reason they haven't even like left the floor for me for the AFC North. Cleveland star power is literally star power. You saw what happened when they had Odell in the league in the team for them last year. Without him, they might have been a little bit better, you can argue, but that's one of those dynamic players that you can't really replace.
You can't say nobody. Yeah, that's dumbfounded.
What did you need in the AFC divisional round? The receiver that was popping off with. I mean, Landry's good, but you pair to both of them. It's a really good team.
No ex-Miami Dolphin talk. Jeez.
Ex-Miami Dolphin.
Everybody else, what's your beef with Landry, bro?
Nah, I love Landry. I literally went to a Browns game when they played the Dolphins just to see my boy Landry play.
Juice.
So yeah, the juice is loose, baby.
And where are we going next?
AFC West.
To the West?
Yeah.
Easy, real quick. Do you know who the AFC West is? KC's winning.
Okay. I was about to say, we don't even got to...
Yeah, we don't even got to talk
no one's contending?
No.
Not Denver.
No.
Not the Raiders.
The Chargers.
Not the Chargers.
Chargers
are going to be second. Yeah.
But...
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, with Denver. I would not be honestly surprised with Denver coming in second in the AFC West.
You know, Gus is not watching this, right? You don't.
No, it's not even that. It's not even that. They have good weapons. They have good weapons. I think they have a real shot, but
not to win.
Not to win. No.
We're talking about winners right now.
We all know it's KC. Come on, dude. Let's keep it moving. All right.
Keep it moving.
AFC South probably. Another no-brainer. We have the Colts. We have the Texans. We have the Jaguars. And then you want to finish off the last one for me? Anyone?
Remember.
Anyone?
The Titans.
Here we go. Attaboy.
I mean, if Indy had a quarterback, even though it is Carson Wentz, I'm not sold on him 100% coming back and being good. But if they had a quarterback, it would be more competitive. But I think Tennessee's winning this one. Like we're mentioning, stars. They got a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Tannehill. I don't know if you know, but
Ex-Dolphin.
But yeah, I'm going with Tennessee. What about you, Mr. Gamble?
I am going Tennessee, but yeah. I think it's not necessarily a no-brainer. I think Carson Wentz, it honestly depends on him, to be 100% truthful, because they have the offensive line, they have the running game with Jonathan Taylor, they have a pretty solid defense, and it's just, hey, do you want to show that you're one of the better quarterbacks in this league? And if he comes and plays with that chip,
they should have traded for a backup at least.
They should have got Nick Foles.
No way.
With Frank Wright again. They would have been really nasty, dude. Oh my god.
It's the same problem.
What is it? 2017 all over again? Whenever they won with the Eagles?
Yeah, no, that's not good for my boy mental.
Dude, that shit's so bad.
That contract, dude.
There's like a clause like you cannot trade for Nick Foles. But I agree with you, Chris. I think the Titans win this division.
Just below or under 5 games wins.
Oh, like below or above 5 wins?
Yeah.
I think they're at right there. They're at 5. Yeah. Dude.
Even with 17 games?
Yes.
They play the what was that cross division? They play the
I don't remember who they play across, but I think the Colts are hard stuck second. I think the bottom 2 teams are going to be between the Jaguars and the Texans, as it was last year, as it is going to be again this upcoming season. Have you said you're winning for this one? Okay, cool.
Last but not least, the AFC East.
Let's go. This one very interesting, at least for me. I know you guys probably are going to not pick my team, and I'm probably not going to pick my team. I'm kidding. I'm picking the Dolphins. We have the AFC East, Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills, New York Jets, which are going to be last, and the New England Patriots. Patriots spent a lot of money in the offseason. Bills were the number 2 seeded team in the AFC last season, and Dolphins just missed the playoff by getting shit on by the Bills. So, should be interesting. Dolphins every team has a 17-game season. If the Dolphins can keep up the defense, I don't have a problem with the offense. I think the offense will be fine. It's the defense. If the defense holds up this year, like how they picked up at the end of last season, it's unstoppable, I think, honestly. Unstoppable.
I'm the exact opposite with your team problems. Like Tua, it's been the talk of Tua. Tua's been the talk since he's been out of Alabama, and he's continued to talk for your team. I feel like as far as he's the key to a good or great season for you guys. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I'm still picking the Bills to win this division, but your team success depends on Tua heavily in my eyes.
Mm. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills, but I think second place comes down to which Alabama quarterback is going to be better. And I don't know if it's Tua. I'm sorry, man. I want to root for the Dolphins. That way I don't have to deal with you being grumpy every Monday. But, no, like, I don't know. It'd be cool to see somebody that's not the Patriots come out of the AFC East. But I have the Bills winning. I think it's going to be between the Patriots and the Dolphins. We'll see how the Patriots look in about 4 games or so.
That's
true. The Dolphins are here and the Patriots are playing catch-up. Yeah. And they'll have to catch them for sure. But Belichick's one of the best coaches of all time. I think he can get them boys right.
Yeah, I think the Patriots defense is coming back. Yeah, the Patriots defense is all the way back. And then some. They got a lot of additions in the offseason. It's the offense. It's literally the Patriots offense. If the Patriots offense, if Mac and Cheese can hold up, the Patriots will be good again. But it's really coming down to that. And like you guys said, first couple of games in the year, we'll really figure that out for the Patriots. Dolphins, I'm just not even being biased. I'm confident in them. Like I think They have a lot of weapons. They have a lot of speed, and that's something that Tua thrives in. So I think they're building the team around them, which is really good. And then the defense is just the defense. I think the defense is really good. So that wraps up our Week 1 NFL game picks.
Yes, sir.
And on top of that, that wraps up our divisional winners. And let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to follow these guys on their social platforms. I'll be plugging it in the post edit. So you guys will see that. And if you guys have stuck around through this entire episode, I really appreciate you guys. And I know my guys here appreciate you guys. So thanks for watching.
Go to NFLGamePicker.com.
Yes, sir. Check out NFLGamePicker.com. And last but not least,
Dan Campbell.
Motor City Dan Campbell. Oh, man.
Bear down.
Fins up.